Good morning, students. Today we shall deal with figures of speech. Earlier we are discussing about part of speech, and there is difference between figure of speech and part of speech. In part of speech we are having noun, adjective. We are having noun, adjective as I have told you earlier. But today we are dealing with figure of speech. Because we are learning, we are going through the poetry and we are facing problems in poetry, so we are going to discuss figure of speech. Let us discuss the definition. A figure of speech is a poetic device which is used in a language to produce greater effect on the reader. Or simply we can say, हम क्या कह सकते हैं कि फिगर ऑफ स्पीच एक ऐसा पोइटिक डिवाइस है, एक ऐसा टूल है जिससे हम लैंग्वेज में बहुत अच्छा इफ़ेक्ट दे सकते हैं. दिस इज़ यूज टू मेक पोइट्रीज, दिस इज़ यूज टू क्रिएट पोइट्री, एंड इन दिस वी आर नॉट यूजिंग द ordinary language. So our dictionary defined it. It is a departure from the ordinary expression. Means we are not using ordinary language. Somehow we are changing the language, we are putting comparisons, we are putting good sounds, and that's make it a great poetry. So we are learning a poetic language, how we can introduce a poetic language. So we are just moving away from ordinary language. Or in simple language, we can say we are not going to write a ordinary language, we are going to somehow change it. For example, that is, he fought bravely. A person has fought bravely. This is in a very simple language. And if we want to go for a poetic language, how we can make comparison of it, just look at this. He fought like a lion. So we have made the meaning of the sentence is same. He fought like a lion means he fought bravely. But here we have made a comparison. And if we have made a comparison, so the language give a greater effect, and if language gives us a greater effect, then it becomes a poetic language. And to make a poetic language, we are using figure of speech. Again, he was a lion in the fight. Meaning is same. The sentence also contains the same meaning, but there is a direct comparison. Here it was comparison with the lion. He fought like a lion means some qualities of lion are imbibed by him. But here a lot of qualities of lion are imbibed by him. Means he is having lot of qualities. So again we have made a comparison, but this is a direct comparison. That's why again we are having another figure of speech. Now we are going to discuss different figure of speech. First of all, we are going to discuss figures of speech on the basis of comparison. In comparison, we are comparing one thing with the other. So our first figure of speech is simile on the basis of comparison. As the word tells us, simile means likeness or similar. Means two things are similar to each other. So our definition says one thing or an action is compared often with as or like to a thing of different kind or quality. So in simple language we can say two things are compared with what? Means the sentence contain words like as, like or so. means two things are compared, but the sentence must these words contain these words as, like, and so. So we must keep this thing in our mind, that there must be two things, and there must be comparison of these two things, and finally we are having these three words as, like, so. One more thing I want to add, that there is a comparison, but here you will find out that two things will be compared, but only one or two similarities. There will be qualities similar one or two of each other. Let us now move to the sentence, her words are sweet like honey. Now we are a comparison of two things, that are her words and honey. These two things are being compared. They are sweet. Both are sweet. Her words and honey are sweet. So when we are having a word like, it means this is a simile. So we must consider this. Another, he ran like a tortoise. So again we are having the word like. So he and tortoise both ran, and both ran slowly. That's why we make a comparison. So next is, I wandered lonely as a cloud. So there is wandering of I and the cloud. Both wander, but this wander is very lonely, and both wandering is being compared by the word as. So our next figure of speech is metaphor, and just read it with concentration, because we are going to get lot of metaphors in our poetry and even in our lessons. Our first lesson contains a lot of metaphors. So what is a metaphor? A metaphor is an implied simile. So if we try to understand it, there is also a comparison. We return to this word again, but first of all, let us deal with, that is, two things are treated as one when comparing them. Simply we could say that we are going to compare two things again. हमें एक इजी सी बात समझनी है कि दो चीज़ों को हमें कंपेयर करना है, और सिमिली में और मेटाफर में डिफरेंस ये होता है कि हम लोग जब हमारी क्वालिटीज़, दो चीज़ों की क्वालिटीज़ थोड़ी कम मैच करती हैं, तब उसे सिमिली कहते हैं, और उसमें एज, लाइक, सो का यूज़ होता है. लेकिन एक चीज़ दूसरी से बहुत ज़्यादा मैच करती है और दोनों एक जैसी ही लगती हैं, तब हम उसे मेटाफर कहते हैं. The simile says merely that one thing is like another thing, but the metaphor says that one thing is another. This is the difference. Simile क्या कहती है कि एक चीज़, one thing is like another, दूसरे जैसी है, but the metaphor says that one thing is another. लेकिन metaphor ये कहता है कि एक चीज़ दूसरी है, मतलब लगभग उसकी qualities same है. So two things share a lot of similar qualities, that is known as metaphor. Just take an example. He fought like a lion. So here we are saying that he fought like a lion means वो लड़ा, lion की तरह लड़ा, but there is similarity of one quality, that is both are brave and both can fight. He and lion can fight in a similar way. But if we are using metaphor, he was lion in the fight means if we are comparing directly the person with the lion, it means the person have lot of other qualities like a lion. Like he is brave as lion, he is confident as lion. So if he is having a lot of qualities like a lion, then we are going to say that he is just similar to line. And when he is similar to line or one thing is another, it means it is metaphor. So this statement contains metaphor. Our first one is simile. There is slight difference between these. Again we are having same. He ran like a tortoise. So you recognized it that it is simile. Before me you will speak out that it is simile. Again, he was tortoise. So he ran like tortoise means he ran slowly like tortoise. And he was tortoise means he's slow like tortoise, he's lazy like tortoise. So you similarly can say that he can be easily compared with tortoise. He shares a lot of qualities with tortoise. So obviously there is metaphor. And if we are saying that this is so, again we are using one more example. Life is a dream. So life is compared to dream. So that is also a metaphor. So finally we can say, if we are batching or we are saying one thing the another, that is known as implied simile. That earlier I have called it implied simile. The reason behind it that it is similar to simile, but what is the difference? The difference is that the simile, in the simile there merely one thing is like another, but in metaphor one thing is another. Now let us move to third figure of speech. This is personification. And you will easily recognize it because you might have studied in your Hindi literature. So when we put the qualities of a person in a non-living things, in simple language, देखिए हम बहुत सिंपल सी डेफिनेशन इसकी समझेंगे कि किसी भी नॉन लिविंग थिंग को ऐसे शो ऑफ किया जाता है जैसे उसमें लिविंग क्वालिटीज़ हैं. इस तरीके से शो ऑफ किया जाता है. नॉन लिविंग थिंग को ऐसे शो ऑफ किया जाता है जैसे उसमें लिविंग क्वालिटीज़ हो. जस्ट टेक एन एग्जाम्पल. द स्टार्स वर प्लेइंग. स्टार्स कभी खेलते हैं? नहीं खेलते. लेकिन स्टार्स को कैसे शो किया गया है कि स्टार्स खेलते हैं. क्या खेलते हैं? हाइड एंड सीक, लुक्का छिपी खेलते हैं विद clouds. So when a non-living thing is being shown some given qualities of a person, then we can say it is personification. So now you might understand. The fire swallowed the whole forest. So could fire swallow? निगल सकता है. फायर कभी निगल सकता है? No. It is so the quality is being compared with a human being. The human beings used to swallow, but here fire is swallowing. So again we can say, then the whole town was sleeping. So could the town, that is a non-living thing, could it sleep? But if we are showing it as, it means it is personification. Again we are having one more example. Experience is the best teacher. So experience, how could experience be a teacher like a living being? So similar way, you might understand now. So we are having one more example. The sun smiled at us. So you have seen the sun a lot of time. Have you seen it smiling? No. But we can personify it, we can use it, we can see it smiling through our imaginations. So The non-living thing is being shown as it is showing some person's qualities. So our next figure of speech is oxymoron. The name looks typical, but it's very easy. Oxymoron is a combination of two words. So we shall find two words here, and there must be the opposite of, there must be two opposite words in one sentence. It is very easy one, and it's easy to understand. It's, if it is not easy to understand the definition, let us take the examples. That is, the boy is regularly irregular. So we are having two opposite words. One is regular and another is irregular. And we are using these words to make our meaning more effective. So what do you find the meaning of this word? The boy is regularly irregular. Means the boy is irregular, and your emphasis that for continuous time he is irregular. So to put that emphasis, you are using two opposite words, and if we are using two opposite words, that means it is oxymoron. Again, you can see it's that this could be easily understood by the examples. It's pretty, she is pretty ugly. So pretty and ugly, these two are opposite words, but now you must have find out the meaning. So you are saying that the person or the girl is ugly, and it is, the pretty word doesn't contains that meaning. It is means she is too ugly. The sentence contain that she is not in that sense, it is in that sense that she is too ugly. But because we are using two opposite words, so there is oxymoron. Let us take another example. He was found missing. So again we are having two opposite words, found and missing. But what this sentence contains, it says that somebody was found, somebody was seen as it was missing. So we are using two opposite words. It means this is oxymoron. So you might have understood that there must be a combination of two words opposite meaning. Now it was natural acting. So one is pretending, one is acting. How could it be natural? But we are using these two words. It contains that he is acting is looking very nice. So the meaning here changes, but we are using, while we are using two opposite words, it means it is oxymoron. Again we are taking one more example. Life is bitter sweet. So what type of sweetness there in life? We are using two opposite words, and it contains that life is obviously sweet, but it has lot of bitterness. So if we found two opposite words and the meaning obviously changes, so that is known as oxymoron. So I am leaving this topic here, and in our next lecture we shall know about assonance, alliteration, and consonance and enjambment. That will be our next figure of speech. So just keep these figure of speech in your mind and learn them, because they are very useful in our coming poetry, as well as we have done whatsoever till now. We have done two poetries, that is Just of No. There was some figure of speech, and we have done Fire and Ice. There was also some figure of speech. So just recall them. All these will be useful throughout your poetry. Keep these in your mind, and I will give you exercise after completing all the figure of speech.